in today's video, yes. Part 2 of Boris Alfred Johnson. Yes, that's the fella. I've had this little motor in my possession for quite a few days now, and I've just been driving it around a little bit to see what it's like. And so far it seems okay, but maybe it's time to properly put it to the test. I have acquired this car with a suspect head gasket failure, and I'm not 100% sure that's actually the case. Now, there's the problem with communication, because I am 100% sure that that is why I've got it. What I'm not 100% sure about is whether it does have a head gasket failure or not. There's my breakfast. Not even joking. So my plan for today, and indeed for this video, is to put this car to the test and try and find out whether it really has gone or not. But in typical Project Nigel fashion, the first thing I'm going to do giving it a nice wash may not seem like the obvious thing to do while testing the head gasket, but I am actually being realistic here. There is a possibility of it breaking down, and while I'm waiting for recovery, I want it to look nice. And nice it certainly does. What a fantastic colour Firefrost Red actually is, especially with the sun out. Now, we all know about Project Drive, don't we? Well, most of us do. Well, not everybody knows about Project Drive, but briefly it was an initiative set up by the managers of the Rover Group when they took it over from BMW to cut costs. In short, that actually meant taking a perfectly nice car and making it a bit cheap and nasty. The ending result, meaning cars like this Rover 600 here and this 2045, are actually much better quality and much better built and much more premium feeling than newer cars like this. And although they made some efforts to try and make it look a bit more modern inside, that really wasn't enough. But one thing they did do, just one tiny thing that did improve things, is this: a low coolant sensor in the bottom of the expansion tank. Because everybody knows that the K series, or rather everybody thinks that they know that the K series has head gasket failure every couple of weeks. I've only driven about 40 miles in this car and there's been no problems, but I haven't really put it under load. It's not been on the motorway and it's not been up any really steep hills. Motorway, not too concerned about. Steep hills, different matter. If your car can't go up a hill without overheating, then it has a problem. So I'm going to take this car up Blackstone Edge. It's not massively steep, but it is sort of 3 miles of constant going uphill. And this is the start of the hill in question. The only trouble is I've got cars in front of me, meaning that I can't even go beyond 40 miles per hour. Maybe more than one run would be a good idea anyway. First one, take it quite gently. You can't get up here in a 1.4 in 5th gear anyway. In fact, I'm having to change down to 3rd already. Only joking. I just wanted to see whether it really did look good broken down at the side of the road. And it does. By not breaking down and missing out on that kind of thing. Coming up the other side of the hill, giving it a much more of a push because there just isn't the traffic in the way. And it's pulling well. It's pulling very well actually. At last we have some symptoms. That was a good hard thrash up that road there. cold air coming out the vents now, even with the heating on full. There's loads of coolant in there, so I think there's some sort of blockage. The temperature was going up a bit, and the vents blowing out cool air, and now it's just gone back down to the air. The vents are blowing out warm air. Look at this lovely thing. Here's another thing I actually quite like about the facelift car that I'm sure wasn't available on the old Mark 1 model. Plastic cover for the bonnet stay. Stops your bonnet from going rusty. Rover obviously knew by this point how often that bonnet was going to be open and thought they'd do the smallest thing to help protect it against rust. Boris! No pressure. So, has the head gasket gone on Boris? Probably. But I'm still not entirely convinced. Just the way that temperature kept changing there just seems more like some sort of airlock. So once it's cooled down a bit, I'll try and bleed it a little bit. And after all, when I took the expansion tank cap off, it didn't hiss and go mad at me. I'm just not one of these people that are easily convinced. I don't even have an opinion because I probably won't believe that. Just bled the coolant, not all of it, just from the bleed nipple just there. And I did have it open for a couple of seconds before anything came out, which does suggest that there was an airlock in there. Boris failed the test, but well, I'm still driving it because having bled the coolant there, maybe it'll be okay now. I don't give up on things, me, you know. I try them properly. It is now time for another one of Ali Mac's special beers. Thank you. Let's tip it in and drink it. I'm going to do exactly the same thing as I did do last time. It's got almost chocolatey smell to it. Oh. So here we have another live ale, nice dark ale, which you can quite clearly see is not really incredibly dark. It's a little bit cloudy. But that is how I think beer should be. All this fining stuff just takes away the taste. They're very sharp, very it's got lots of that proper homebrew flavour to it actually. The kind of beer that gets you really drunk without you even trying. Yes, let's enjoy it. So, it does put me in mind a little bit of when I used to make beer myself. And it would always have a slightly rough around the edges kind of flavour to it. Rather visceral. I don't think visceral is the correct word for this, but I've just used it, so tough luck. And yeah, it's a good, honest flavour. Not too refined like you get in the supermarket beers. And it's refreshing. Actually, it is refreshing as well. It's got a very nice refreshing edge. And it's one of those things that make it very easy to drink quite quickly. Yeah, and that's why giraffes can't operate a calculator. Where's my phone? Where's my phone? Where's my phone? Ah. Yes, hello. Yes. No, I'm drinking it right now. It's very good. Yes. Yes. Okay, Rupert, bye. Wrong number. Well, in conclusion to this beer, to which I've drunk nearly all of already in about 10 minutes, it is a rather satisfactory beer. Yes. Otherwise, I'd be struggling to drink it, and I'm not. In actual fact, I could have done with going a bit more slowly with it, really, but That's what happens sometimes. So thank you once again. It's just a pity it costs you so much to post.